I've never been a hiking enthusiast, but at least once or twice a year, I am compelled by my friends to take a brief walk up some of our nearby mountain trails. One of these trips was taken on a particularly dreary day up an unusually steep hill. Several hours after trudging through the rainy path, we reached a sufficient height to pass above the clouds, and what I saw was a truly unforgettable sight. A sea of clouds spread out in front of me, with small, towering mountain peaks appearing as nothing but islands in the distance. To see such a thing, my own 2 feet planted firmly upon the earth shook me and inspired awe unparalleled. There are certain experiences that stick with you, that leave something indelible upon you. Pathologic 2 is such an experience. It is merely something I could not stop thinking about since I first played it nearly a year and a half ago. So let's talk about Pathologic 2, and why it is without exception the greatest game ever made. Pathologic 2 begins where Pathologic ended for most people. The town on fire and in disarray. All is lost and dead. You failed to bring change to the town, or it to you. But can you really be blamed? As the game will go on to say later, the previous play was foul. No one understood the role they were meant to play. How can you be a Haruspex, a doctor, or a changeling if you do not know your line or role? The component needed to try again is here now. You have arrived. And surely you too think things must be able to work out this time, right? The man in charge, Mark Immortel, even assures you this time you will have a happy ending and all. You will even think you have won. Is that not what you want? Stride forth then in the shoes of our protagonist, Artemis Burach, and test yourself and him once again. Pathologic wasted no time in introducing you to your first and closest companion. You awaken in this attempt in a train with a man in a coffin who wishes to play a game with you. A game of fate. His role is plain, not just fate, but its arbiter. The man who is the greatest consequence in the ties that bind. Death. Now, though, it is time for you to turn your eyes aside and meet your fellow actors. So many faces you are sure not yet to know as you go back to the dressing room. An overseer, a doctor, a changeling, a mistress, and more. Pathologic is not afraid of artificiality, and as a matter of fact, it is sure to make it known you are in a construct from this very moment on. See the actors for the puppets they are. Here, alone and divorced from connection, they are nothing. This is but one way that Pathologic 2 makes its nature known, and so much of this artificiality is at the core of Pathologic. Lesser games would collapse under the sheer force of narrative tension, but Pathologic revels in it and grows from this. Shades and tragedians haunt the town, both spectre and teacher. They give us insight into people's other faces, as well as teach us of the role we are meant to play, how to be a Haruspex. Each night we have the opportunity to see a theater of ourselves and the town, lest we ever think that we are something more than actor. But what is so important about our role? Each death grants us a small window into that answer, for with each death it is impressed upon us that a new Barak steps upon the stage. But aren't we Artemis? Who then are we in this production, if not him? If one actor playing the part is just as good as another, then what is our role in events? In time we will realize we are but a part of a triad, one of many. For all things in Pathologic come in threes. This case pertains to the stage, the actor, and us. Not wholly player or observer, not disassociated or complete. It is up to us, in part, to decide who it is we are, but to know that most of all that we stand apart from the performance. While we are still behind the curtain, let us take a look at our actors, beginning with a more thorough look at our vehicle in this adventure, Artemis Burach. We start with you, the Haruspex, the butcher. For reference, a haruspect is an individual who foretold the future with animal entrails. This then shall be your role, to see with insight and cut with deftness, to know the movements of the world and intuit wisely which cords of fate must be cut and which must be preserved with diligence and great care. Your prompt is such that your father is growing old and wishes to see Artemis once again. He sent his son away to learn from the outside world, but the time has come to take up the mantle of Isidore Burach. So Artemis returns to his hometown. This is a decision most dire, as within moments of arriving he learns that it has changed beyond all recognition. The Butcher is not a title given without merit, as moments after arriving home, 3 men lay dead at your feet, victims of nothing but Artemis' presence. They sought an ill-advised vengeance for Artemis' father, who died only hours before he arrived home, and paid a terrible price for it. These men may have been the first, but they will not be the last. Artemis will spill a river of blood. His hometown is a body alive and feeling, and so its populace shall turn against him like antibodies against a foreign disease. So much there is to learn of Artemis, or maybe decide. Either way, his fate is tied now to the town, and the most pressing matter is to learn of your father's fate. Was he murdered, betrayed, or is there something fouler and much worse at play? Surely, you already know the answer. A single moment of calm within a tempestuous storm. Laura appears first as an old friend and a kind face amid a town of vicious avenging antibodies. She is one whose faith in her old friend is unshaken by the rumors of his misdeeds. She is no doctor or surgeon, but with her kindness she would do what healing she can, both to Artemis and the town. She longs for renewal and reconnection with Artemis and the rest of their old friends. But how much good can kindness do in the inscrutable face of death? How much weight can cords made only of hope hold? And when those cords break, their backlash can be deadly. For now, she represents a safe harbor and a warm meal. The second of your long-lost friends and a man of many faces. His is a master of warehouses, of the material. Neither above nor below the earth may heaven nor hell be found. A man concerned only with the real, and now he fancies himself a kingpin of the local cutthroats. Ostracized by Laura for his gruff demeanor, he is alone for those he leads. Investigate a little or merely ask his shadow, and you will find that his gang is little more than a band of children and pretenders. Like we may have ideated or admired Saturday morning cartoon villains as children with their pretensions of violence and unwillingness to actually commit it, Grief lives this life as well. The Dr. Doom of his town, monologuing of his criminal empire and grand plans of world domination, while only committing the pretense of violence. He never changed from the child Artemis knew him as, never stopped playing games. Just as Laura will find her own values tested in the coming days, so too will Grief, or more properly Gregory. Will his goons still wield rubber knives when death finds the town? The last of Artemis' lost connections, Stach Ruben, is by far the coarsest of the three. In the time Artemis had left, he became the student of Isidore Burach, and quite close to him as well. Find him, and you will only wonder why you bothered to return at all. He quite well knows you did not murder your father, but bears as much ill will to you as though you did. All because Artemis left Isidore and returned just a little too late. Always by the side of his mentor, Reuben believes he should be the one to take on his duties, that he is fit to take hold of Isidore's inheritance. This was never to be Reuben's fate. Laura says it best. All in all, this is a quiet town. not perfect, but there's a place for everyone. We're all connected through bonds of love, of friendship, of patience. Connections to others is everything here. The town is one body, working together. But Reuben denies this. He positions himself as a man apart, the one apart from the body. As long as he distances himself from others, only doom awaits him. Then there's Notkin, who in many ways is the child version of Grief, but also his dark mirror. While Grief leads a band of harmless cartoon villains having the visage of a bloodthirsty kingpin, Notkin appears to have all the innocence of childhood. But with its naivete, he is fully prepared to murder one of his own kind for betraying them. Notkin's band, the Soul and a Halves, are of the earth, the counterpart to the other band of children, the Dogheads, which will hopefully make more sense later. For now, the words of one of the Dogheads describes their conflict best when he says, "We're the Dogheads and they're the Soul and a Halves. We're above and they're below. We live in the tower and they crawl on the earth. They're drawn to animals and we reach for the stars. What's so hard to comprehend?" Honestly, I'm not sure I could be any clearer than him. His fate is tied to Artemis, and who he becomes, or if he will have the chance to become anything at all, rests solely on Artemis' shoulders. Big Vlad is yet one more pillar of the town, leading the bull industry. The bulls in this case are literal, as he runs the town's main industry, a massive abattoir on the town's east edge. There he puts to task the native population, herein called the Kin. He has placed them in a massive tenement nicknamed the Termitary. Several thousand of them make a living there, packed in as tight as termites in their hive, worked nearly to death and given only enough pay to stay there. But Vlad still commands respect in this town. Vlad has used that respect in our favor, granting Artemis a reprieve and a chance to vindicate himself. These men that pursue you, that work for him, they are just beasts, animals, swine. Vlad has called you here because you may be of use to him. All living things, be they man or beast, as long as they have a supple backbone, are of use to Vlad. He now wishes to find the killer of Isidore, all the while imploring Artemis to leave the investigation be. After all, the murder will no doubt turn out to be whoever Vlad needed most. Herb brides, a part of the Kin, a part of the earth. They dance upon the earth, wearing it open that herbs may sprout from it. The perfect counterpoint to a surgeon in every way. It must be that nothing is done with force, but that all healing, all connections are formed with time and patience. You know not of them, but one of them remembers Artemis. She knows that she is connected to him, but that he is not yet ready for her. He does not even remember her name. His hands still carry the weight of the outside world. You are not prepared. You do not yet know the lines. The herb bride, though, is patient. She will wait. She will wait for Artemis to remember, and will be there when the need of her is most dire. There are more players, but they have not yet taken the stage. There is, however, a particular elephant in the room that we must address before continuing. It is a common sentiment that Pathologic and its successor are obtuse and obnoxiously difficult. A quote from GameSpot's David Wildgoose in his review of Pathologic 2 states, "Pathologic 2 is the product of a perverse design philosophy. It's alternatingly intriguing and off-putting. It draws you in with its eerie, dreamlike setting and cast of unnaturally eccentric characters. But then it pushes you away with its nagging, mundane demands. In the end, I was resigned to let failure take me." End quote. The core of the problem in this case is the conflation of difficulty with sadism or ambivalence. Pathologic 2 possesses neither of these qualities. It is a game that immensely values both the players and its own time. The aim is to put you thoroughly in the shoes of Artemis, to make his struggles yours, and yes, the game does aim to push you. You will feel as though you are, at best, only keeping your head above water. But does not a crucible require heat? How would you even stand a chance of feeling Artemis' struggles if you yourself did not struggle? If the experience is for you first and foremost fun? As it is, each failure and loss may sting direly. I have, however, rarely felt as triumphant, even in small victories, as I do in Pathologic 2. Consider then the elation such pressure may provide when, after days of struggling, hours of working and experimenting, you do strike at the fetid heart of death. The elation, the joy, can only be felt by Artemis himself, yet you have an opportunity to share in it. The pressure, the difficulty, it immutably fuses player and protagonist in those moments. Difficulty is, after all, just one paint on a palette of the digital artist's brush. Why should that method of expression be constrained? Even then, Pathologic 2 does compromise. The game admits its harsh calculus might not be for everyone. Some people may be less skilled at resource management, and so you can adjust many of the game's parameters, because what it means to be pressed is different for everyone. Some may feel truly hopeless at the base difficulties, and others insufficiently challenged. Even without those aids, Pathologic 2 clearly defines its rules and rarely ambushes the player, and when ambushes do come, they feel both merited and well-timed. Pathologic 2 is difficult, but more fair than most games. It would be easy to mistake Pathologic 2 for a sadist, and I would be remiss if I did not describe why. As I mentioned previously, each death brings into the town a new Artemis. But that is not all that changes. The game stays true to its promise that each death will mean the whittling away of Artemis in the town. Every death you lose something forever, and I do mean you, the player. Health, endurance, hardiness, each diminishes forever upon death. Submit to the first urge to reload before your death to avoid those consequences, and you will find that Pathologic 2 does not forget. Your failures travel with you. Pathologic 2 considers your death the cardinal sin. When you break continuity and fail to be one with Artemis, you fail the synthesis so core to the game's experience. Each death divorces you further from Artemis in the town and the Gorkon. It is only natural you bear the scars of such setbacks. Mark Immortel can be a demanding director, and he does not tolerate flubbed lines during his play, but only that you might meld yourself more fully with his characters. If you would meet the demands of Pathologic 2 and die never ever, or at least as never ever as you can manage, you will trade a lot. A lot. You will trade with children, trade with teens, trade with the kin, trade with the guards. I'm mildly surprised that you cannot trade with the reeds, bulls, and street corners. Trading is a tradition in this small town, and more than that, to trade is to be a part of the town. You must learn, too, how to trade well. Children may easily give up bottles of morphine or valuable medical supplies. As to a child, such things are merely burdens, whereas adults might happily give up some raisins or chestnuts, which in turn is gold to the town's children, who by far trade the most valuable resources, including the elusive Schmauder. This Schmauder is an esoteric grinding of many antibiotics the children made some 5 years ago. The people here believe that everything we possess and hold becomes charged with a part of ourselves, with bits of our warmth and life. And if we have perhaps had less luck, maybe our struggles and pain. In each trade, you embrace something about another person, and it changes you, just a little. To say trading is something you need to do to survive is not entirely correct. It is more that because people here live, they trade. On your second day in the town, a girl will task you with trading something with each type of person. Accomplish this, and Artemis will again find himself woven into the flesh of the town, bonded, as though he never left. Time has come to inter and pay respects to the man himself, the instigator of all of this, Isidore Bourrach. This is the first opportunity to learn of the Elder Burach and his inheritance. The Earth has refused to accept him. This is because the Earth waits for an inheritor. Someone must, at least in word, take up his mantle, or the wound in the Earth will fester. If Artemis accepts his father's binds, the wound too will bind. With this, Artemis has taken his first terrible step to accepting his legacy. But should he? What is this mysterious inheritance? Aspity, the individual who leads the kin in the town, describes Artemis' father thusly. Your father was a wise man, but he wasted not his time on doubting. He acted instead of brooding. That's why his works were great and many. He who lives cautiously, pacing circles in his own head, spares himself, but wastes those he loves, all those who love him. She insists that it is impossible merely to come into your father's inheritance, but that you must seize it, that what he leaves to you is so much more than the material. He leaves to you all of his place within the kin. A Menku. Only a Menku can cut a body. Only a Menku can pierce the unknown. Without one who will draw the lines. A Menku is not an Emshen or an Onyon. A Menku is first and foremost a knower of connections. They know what things sing in unison when joined. That is what the lines are. A note. A note with 8 names. Sticky, Capella, Murky, Notkin, Khan, Grace, Taya Tychek, and a step symbol, Udurk. This is the most important item Isidore left. Follow where these lines lead, says Aspity, and we will find ourselves a fate. A fate like a good wife. Your wife. The past, dead and buried. We go now to do what we do best as players of games. Take action. We will not merely watch as an inheritance is handed to us. We will seize it with our own hands. Through Laura, we may find that our father dreamt of remaking the town entire. 5 years ago, a plague ravaged the crude sprawl, a small quarter nearby the termitary. Isidore ordered the sprawl quarantined, and nearly everyone inside died. Since then, he has seen the town as a body healed wrong, a bone knitted back crooked. He once longed for the kin to become a part of the town, but he did not like what he saw when that happened. His solution? Break the town apart, once again, that it might have the opportunity to heal anew. Laura pleads with you not to take up this mantle, to let lie the work of Isidore. She may be the first, but she will not be the last. One of the children on the list, Grace, claims to have the ability to speak to the dead. She says that she has already talked to Isidore, but Murky, yet another of Isidore's wards, begs we do not ask her to talk to Father. She says that if she touches the dead 3 more times, she will perish. What is most important to you, Artemis? Must you know your father's true intentions so direly as to risk this poor girl's life? Now is the time to discern the lines. What do they say? Is her life less important than your answers? Talk to him, and you will find much the same that Laura had to tell you already. That he regrets his decision to quarantine the town 5 years ago. That if we would live as humans and not as beasts, we must face death and surpass it. Many will not survive. Was that worth it, Artemis? One last thing is needed for us to understand Isidore, and that is to go home. Now that we have his key, we may visit the place we came to see what seems like an eternity ago. Inside Isidore's homes, we hear the end of his letter beckoning us.
Do not fear death, and neither should you. Death, to a doctor, is but a partner in conversation. Make haste, son.
Not
I truly need you.
the cows.
Your loving father, Isidore Burr.
Isidore was at home with death, knew that he was never far when he worked. And who can argue that a physician finds death both antagonist and constant companion? Who is more keenly aware that all things must die than he who sees it each and every day? Isidore's home has become no place for the living. If we would do our work against death, it cannot be here. Fortunately, we have found a key to the old factory, a place we may rest, store our things, fix broken items, and truly begin our work as men could, crafting tinctures from herbs and other less savory ingredients. Time and action will decide if we are truly to take Father's legacy, but for now, we have a chance, a start. Each time we have met someone new, we have seen a thought of them, and when we do, they are added to a group: blood, bones, or nerves. Now we have the chance to gain some understanding of this, as an old toy explains to us that Isidore saw the body in 3 parts: the aforementioned blood, bones, and nerves. To treat any sick, we learn we must isolate the cause to one of those and administer antibiotics that correspond to that part of the body. I stand in awe of this system as it shows perfectly how no part of Pathologic 2 goes to waste. Even in the most mundane mechanics, something more of the story, the city, and its people are learned. Every patient treated reminds us that it is our job to find the source of this infection, not within the body of the people, but within the body of the town, and heal it, if that is at all possible. Every element points to another. Each action we take feeds into something larger and circles back upon us. There are lines between everything in Pathologic 2. Nothing and no one is divorced from the whole, no matter how hard they might try. Everything we have seen up to this point leads to one conclusion. We have brought death with us to this small town on the river, and ere long it shall bear its ravenous fangs. Events set into motion by powers far beyond us are well along. The time has come that our prelude ends. But there is one last opportunity to revel in the bonds of childhood. Laura, Grief, and Stock may be convinced to throw aside all that has driven them and you apart in the years of Artemis' absence. There is one last chance to nurture the bonds of fellowship. Opportunities like these are at the core of what it is we are meant to become. One who restores broken connections. We will have seldom chances in the days to come to heal so easily, to suture so effortlessly. Revel in this victory of friendship rekindled. You have restored something of the home you once knew. Wake now, though, from this sweet dream, and see that your time is up. Death is here. The sand plague now wakes from its slumber. When the bell tolls, it can mean only one thing. Death has passed its first phase of infection, and now weeps forth openly. Follow the path of tragedians and meet with the town's leaders and doctors. What can they hope to accomplish? Only Isidore held the town together the last time a plague came, but he and the other Titans are gone now from this earth. Even Stock, cold, rude, and pained, admits it is your intuition that may save them, and save us all. Again, it is you who must act to find the answer to this living riddle. The town nonetheless moves to defend itself against the disease, quarantining the sick and establishing a hospital in the theater. All of this will be to little avail. The plague, like death, is not cruel, but inevitable. Today, though, your task is easy. Vaccinate 2 people who matter only tangentially to you. Your purpose here comes as naturally as breathing. Find a cure. Not a vaccination, something to stave off the disease a while. A dyed-in-the-wool cure is the only solution here. Stock, though, on his first shift in the hospital, hits the nail on the head, saying, I know the sand plague. I'm no mystic, but it's some punishment from heaven, more complex than disease. To cure such an ill, one must be Isidore. But even he failed. So then the race begins. Become the thing Isidore longed to be. Create a panacea that will be neither entirely yours nor his. Something must be made to heal this fresh break. More than this, Stock believes he will be the one to invent the cure. But at what cost? Regardless now, the game begins in earnest, and death is on the line. Not just for you any longer. The leader of the Dogheads, Khan, has finally descended the mighty polyhedron to deign to deal with the affairs of Earth. He and Notkin, usually so opposed, have struck a truce. One of those bound to you and your father, Khan is only too aware of the death stalking the town now. He realizes that he and his band of dreamers need the practical soul in the halves. Without their counterparts, they have no meaning. He has come to meet with Notkin, believing that they can stalk death to its lair and use candles to slay it. A child's story, to be sure, but stranger things have had power in this town before. Regardless, Khan and Notkin strike more at the heart of matters than their counterparts, for they see the plague as more than a colony of bacteria or a virus. We can know of Khan that he is a good leader, who takes his responsibility to his people seriously. He both refuses to let his people out and will not go back to his people after this daring venture for fear he would spread the plague among them. Stay Notkin and Kane from this errand and they will stay safer, apart from danger and death. Allow them the opportunity to hunt death, however, and you may find something altogether more interesting. Notkin's scouts have indeed found the House of Death in the crude sprawl. Upon entering this house themselves, they will immediately realize they have gotten in over their head, and while initially contemptuous of you and your help, they now find themselves a little too close to their quarry, and it has trapped them here. A child's game no more. You must light every candle in the house, or else survive there with a plague's hot breath on your neck till morning. One of the game's better outright horror sequences, every moment spent in this foul place feels like an eternity. You scramble because you too must leave this place. You must get out! Move swiftly or move slowly. You prevent the disease from spreading outward from this place, and the crude sprawl is spared for a day. Notkin, however, is not so lucky. He is guaranteed to be the first of your bound infected if you allow him this adventure. Treating him allows you one more unique encounter with the plague, a rare audience with its voice. Give him preventative medicine and it will throw threats at you, which are as hollow as you allow them to be. Cure him with one of your miracle schmauders, however, and the plague will spit upon you. Think you have saved him? You cheat! Only got him back a break from death. It did not keep me at bay forever, and so I shall return to him again and again, and you shall not have such wild potions with you. Little remains. Your father was wiser than you, mightier. He knew well we did not quarrel over mere menfolk's lives. The goal is the 8th. The kids matter only as long as they are of use to the 8th. You are a fool, Barach. You know nothing, understand nothing. Call yourself a healer. Don't kid yourself. Who will you heal? From what? Shall you seize an ill babe and cram them full of your antibiotics? You're an unbearable bore. No fun at all. The sand pest has tipped its hand and given us one small hint of what it is that is the Uderic. Its taunts, however, do not stop here. One more threat it has for us at the factory. You're bound hang from the ceiling. Only a threat for now. But if you do not find a way to combat the sand pest, It will find a way to make this a reality. It again threatens the eighth, the Udurk. What is this Udurk? Aspity will tell us a little more of the knowledge of the kin when asked about this Udurk. She relays the story of Bos Turach, the bull that is the world. That in the nerves and sinews of bulls are the lines of Bos, and so the lines of the whole world, to open our bodies to reenact creation. She does not mean this quite so literally, but urges you to see the world as though it is alive, and that all things that live are tied to one another, just as each member of a body is. In this, we along with the earth are one body with multitudinous wills. She concludes saying there is no word outside the steppe that conveys Udur, and it is best to call it a body that contains the world. Artemis may joke that this is what the steppe people could call a train. But is it not also how one may describe a town? The answer is much more than either of these things. Let us return briefly to more terrestrial matters. Laura is a kind soul and desires greatly to be of use in this time so dire. But what can she do? What could any of us really do? She is no doctor, no leader, just one person with hope in this disaster. She invites you again to her home. Fresh meal in hand, she asks for your help in setting up a home for the healthy who have lost theirs. But she needs a barrel of water to do so. People have begun sabotaging the town's water supply, and now the only reliable source of clean water are the barrels of spring water brought from outside the town. As everyone knows, the water of the river of the town is poisonous. Try to claim a barrel, and you will find the guards uncooperative. Unless some barrels have been tainted with plague. The guards near these will be only too happy to take them away, to take them anywhere. Would you risk sending one of those to Laura? Take the chance. After all, what could go wrong? Turns out a lot could go wrong. The district Laura resides in will be rife with infection by the next day, and her shelter in shambles. What did you expect? That bodies would reject the plague from hope alone? The wiser course, then, is to report the infected barrels and have them removed. This will keep the district safe, but deny both the infected and clean barrels from you for the rest of the game. You could, of course, take no action at all. After all, what is one more infected district? No matter what you do, Laura's request will play some part in crippling the town. One more ounce of grief for her conscience. A reminder to Laura that she is at best but a bystander in the chaos around her. Stock has made good on his words that he would seek the panacea alone. He is working on something in one of the warehouses near Bad Grief, but the kin can sense him. Loathsome of him as they are, they seek the death of Stach. Nothing will sate their bloodlust save Stach's or their own. Kill the kin after Stach or allow him to die. These are the only options. Stach will not stop his work, toiling alone. And so, in another day, more of the kin come. They will not cease until Stach is dead or he rots away on his own. But why? Stach, if he can find a cure for the plague, will benefit everyone. Why do they want him dead so badly? Ask the kin after him on the second day of his work, what person sends them against Stach? And the answer will reveal itself. They say no one sends them against Stach. There are no ones, only the whole, the people, the kin, the Kataganyer. It shares a heartbeat, a sense, it decides nothing, it acts. Stach on his lone crusade has become an anathema to the kin. The kin do not have a word for the individual. To them there is no such thing as a person devoid of connection, but Stach has made himself exactly that. A one, a digit cut from a hand, a thing that stands alone, and to the kin in stark beating defiance of the whole world. This digit that would be a body must be slain, or otherwise rot away the gangrenous venom that keeps it so separated, and Stock shows no signs of abating from his course. Now we have but one choice. Pick a fight with the three of the kin, kill or evade them to save a doomed man, or let him be swallowed by the body of this people. It is time that we talked about the impossible polygonal structure stabbed into the west side of town. It is a fabulous work of digital art. A tornado caught in time, all of its stolen debris still swirling around it. The polyhedron was built about 5 years ago. Khan has lived unaging on the polyhedron for 15 years. Hundreds of children live inside the polyhedron. There is no way into the polyhedron. The polyhedron defies time just as surely as it defies space. Seldom is the opportunity we have to climb the polyhedron as the Haruspects, but chance upon a time to find it unguarded, and you will see a scarred sky, ignorant of the ground below. Standing here, it is easy to imagine time being repelled by such an unimaginable shape. It stands in defiance of all things that would affect it, connected to nothing, accepting nothing outside itself, dreaming only of the heavens. The polyhedron is no less than a miracle. But can those who persist of such a thing truly live lives worthwhile? Retreated entirely within the self, unconnected from others, unconnected from body of the earth. Where does such a thing as this spring from? Surely such a wonder must come at the hands of a being equally impossible, or at a cost most terrible. One of those things is certainly true. Descend now, being of the heavens, and walk once more upon the earth, and speak with the Cains of their opus. The Cains are the architects of this town. Everything built here came from their minds and their hands. Grigory Cain is not the one who built the polyhedron, but he does know its purpose. Speaking of the town, he states, "It's a process, it's a movement. More often than not, it's slow and aimless. Town creeps across the land like an oil stain. We wanted to build a town that would grow upwards, quickly, purposefully. First and foremost, the limits of their conception of the world. The town now finds itself pressed against the river, a border. The town has faced its limit, unable to move forward unless we do the impossible. The time has come for us to step to the other side. Even the polyhedron, defying the law of gravity, one of the most binding architectural laws, is still not there. It stands on an island between two banks. It's a bridge. We've raised our foot over the abyss, but have yet to step forward. Frozen in the middle we are. Still, this is a lot. The polyhedron is a structure that reaches beyond the body of the town. Broke it that it might achieve the Cain's vision of a town pushed beyond its boundaries, not of the body, but of the mind. They aim to use it to evolve into whatever comes after a town, whatever is beyond the body. This mad construct has stabbed at the earth. However, the earth has not taken kindly to the spilling of its blood. The Cain's other marvel in this town is their cathedral. It produces time for the town on the Gorkon. Its innards are a massive clepsydra, seeping time throughout the town's many streets to the clocks that do not keep time, but weave it. The cathedral produces time and the clocks distribute it. It always impresses me when games take some effort to describe why you're able to save and load. And Pathologic 2 masterfully crafts such an explanation, all the while keeping entirely within its own setting and flavor. Merky is one of your father's wards, and someone who has up to this point largely gone unremarked upon. You may chance upon her sitting outside your lair at the factory, speaking in riddles. While prickly, she does long for connection, and has found it in an imaginary friend. This nameless friend has given her the thing the world has so denied her. Connection to someone, something. Her only other friend is Sticky, another orphan and assistant to Isidore, and you. Her parents died in the plague some 5 years ago when she was just a baby. An orphan Isidore Burach took pity on. All the same, she blames Artemis' father for the plague and the town descending into chaos. She isn't wrong, after all. Even her friend talks about how this is all Isidore's fault. And now a spat with Sticky has left her more alone than ever, save her new friend. This friend of hers wants to know, why are you asking everyone about her? Says you shouldn't cut the earth or cure it, elsewise nothing will grow back there. And finally, she wants to meet us tonight, out on the steppe. This time, we know we must go. We might not, but the consequences ought to be only too clear if this line is left uncut. Murky makes her choice clear, after all. She will join this new friend as sister. This line offered to her by fate is one she longs for, but she tells us we must leave for a moment for her friend to find the courage to appear before us. Do so, and Clara the Changeling will find us in our hiding place. Rebuke us for thinking something so childish as though the plague might take a form, have a voice, that it might be so tangible a thing for us to fight against, force of nature that it is. Plagues cannot be bargained with, silly. Returning to Murky, she is gone, and the Changeling again in her place. But wasn't she just behind us? This they claim is the true Changeling. They say Murky has left, ran to keep you safe. This voice, these words, they are the familiar loquations of the sand pest. It seeks a bargain with us. But that is not entirely true. We were unaware of the plague's plan as it played for the lives of Murky and ourselves. Now we are placed in checkmate, an impossible position. Our only options? Accept the death of Murky, or allow the plague a direct line to us. Having lost before we even knew we were playing a game, accepting is the only real choice. Take now this burden, Burach, the plague's voice, its hand upon yours. It now runs through your body, lives in your veins. Murky is fled back to her train car, no longer haunting your factory. Chance to seek her out, and you will find the reason for her choosing such a domicile. A dream that a train might by accident lead her car away from here, take her to the sea, a place less dismal than the nameless town, a place full of life. Maybe now she sees this place could be somewhere for her to live. Someone here has finally shown her true kindness, the loving care of a father. Maybe, if this body might be purged of its disease, this could be a place where she could finally find a family. But now, pay your price. Hear the plague's words, for it is a part of you.
It aches to be born. It aches to grow. It aches to choose. There is no ache in death. Shall I kill you?
For Murky's new dream to become reality, more than our pithy self-sacrifice is required. Closer to the plague than ever, we must defeat it. Time is ticking down. The town's life force is running dry. When the outbreak first occurred 5 years ago, children mashed up a medley of antibiotics into what they call a smouder. While logic would dictate such things never cure the plague, this is a place where people may push beyond the conception of the world. Children are just as capable of this, and maybe even more so. Their ignorance frees them from the bounds of logic. Their games have the ability to change people and the world. Their schmouders are not just dust and drug, but their boundless innocence and imagination. These schmouders are also demonstrating the power of something as simple as a game to change a person. Making schmouders is impossible for those weighed down by the harshness and cruelty of the wider world. So while they are immensely useful to Artemis, they can never be a permanent solution. The panacea must be sought and held. The first clue comes from the kin, who claim that bulls are immune to the plague. Working with them to interpret the lines of the town's last bull will give us an opportunity to find a vial of bull's blood. This, though, is fruitless. Bulls are immune. But it may be more aptly stated that the plague has no interest in bulls, does not attack them in the way that it attacks humans. Perhaps, then, blood made of bull and man. But where does such a miracle exist? Mixing tinctures with infected organs will grant us yet another audience with the plague. What was that red stuff? Guts from menfolk? Bah! Man guts won't do, Barach. Oh no! Your bodies are weak. Try your foolish potions on someone, and you will see it is worthless. Life always finds a way. Always. Sooner or later, I'll find something to defeat you. You mean to test everything you can find? What wisdom! You should be done in 40 years, if you live to reach such an age. I might cut short your woe, for I am not without kindness. The fool will die, and the wise shall receive my help. Is there any way to defeat such a primal force? The plague is the will of the earth itself. Can we truly work against such a thing? To do so seems to mean defying fate. The kidneys held no cure. I must try again. It must be in the heart. The heart was a fool's errand. Maybe the liver? The liver was a folly choice. The brain, then, that must defeat the plague. Nothing. Nothing. There is no answer. But rumors of an inquisition arriving have begun to circulate through the town. They will not be so kind to a surgeon that has not found results. And what of Reuben, prepared to die to find a cure? Many lines converge, and yet there is nothing. The title of our day holds the answer. The answers will reveal themselves if the Haruspex is brave enough to do nothing. Sleep and Tyachek, now overseer of the kin, and last on your list you have yet to see, will dream of you. Taya, locked in her termite hive, tells you that the Udark's ear is in the old village on the edge of town. Go there, and it may grant your wish, and possibly hers. She wishes to be free of this place, longs most of all to walk upon the earth once more. Wake from her dream into yours. Listen to her words, and there lies, split open from the earth, the living blood, the blood of man and bull. This blood does indeed answer our wish. A panacea. Not an imagined miracle of children, but a cure, a victory. But its effectiveness must be confirmed, and time is not merely short, but exhausted. The only patient for my Artemis was himself. Having taken Murky's burden, I now have a chance to grant myself a reprieve, and my. What have we here? A real cure to drive me out from the body. You are just like your foolish father, following in his footsteps, doing what he did 5 years ago. Really? Did he also make a cure? He did not let me into the town, boarded off the crude sprawl. It burned out from the inside to the last soul. With no food, I starved to death, and so the town returned to its unknowing slumber. Sounds like a job well done. That was long ago. He then had time to think of what happened, to understand that he should not drive me away, neither from a town nor from a body. I am a heavenly gift, Burach, Will it also take you 5 years to understand it? You hold poison in your hands. In 5 years, perhaps I will regret this. For now, step aside. For this brief moment, we command the plague. We have struck true against its ill intent. But what does it mean? Why does it believe so much in its own necessity? You have taken one great leap in ridding this plague from the town. But now, on a steel Uderch, a new threat arrives. Since the old hell had grown stale, a new one has arrived to take its place. This Inquisitor, Aglaya Lilich, bears no religion, but she still has a dogma to put the Inquisitors of the old to shame. Ones such as her are called to task to solve problems no others have the tenacity to solve. She will get results, or she will die at the hands of her masters. What is the problem she seeks to solve here? She must save the town, but what does that mean to her? She has opened the termitary, finally given you a chance to meet Taya Tychek and see why the termitary was locked. The screams inside make it clear. The kin were betrayed by Vlad. The infestation took hold here, and in these tight quarters it spread like wildfire. Thousands are dead. In this place the Inquisitor sees she is doomed. There is no more town to save. This place is a Gordian knot, a problem with no solution. At least, none that will come to her with the time she has allotted. Aglaya might be doomed, but she still has a role yet to play. Formaner Yoon, overseer of the mystical abattoir, takes the stage at last. He stands now at a dead place, the kin's old village. Life ebbed from the small settlement as the town drained it of its blood. One more drop of blood from this place is what we need, and Oyun is the man who knows how to get it. He promises Artemis admittance to the abattoir and its miracles, but he is not yet a part of the kin. You are still lost, confused. Such is the way of those apart from the whole. Reunite with the kin. Give them the direction they are so sorely lacking. The kin are a beast of one heart and many heads, and Oyun believes that the time of Vlad's town is over, that the kin rise anew. You must lead them to their rightful inheritance. For the kin to act, they must be led by one who sees the lines. Agree or not, the time has come for you to rejoin your people. We pick up where we left off with the Inquisitor. Let your ears bleed as the Udurg's ears bleed. Hear the pained cries of the kin. See what this town has done to them.
Where's Grandpa Isidore? Why did he stop coming by?
The bodies pile in the halls and the dead are myriad. The one you were told to protect so long ago and who dreamt of you sits here idly. Taya Tychek. She must leave this plague hive, but she refuses. Taya is a true child of the kin. Demand that she leave alone, and she responds, Hell alone? What do you mean? I don't understand the word. As mentioned earlier, the kin have no word for such a thing alone. A member apart cannot exist. She will leave when the kin leaves, when her body moves. And the kin's heart is decided. They will move when a Vlad is brought to them. The one who betrayed them must be brought to justice. Betrayal cannot go unpunished, and a strong leader will be able to do this thing. The kin needs strength in their leaders. Oyun believes this overmuch. Return to him and he will say, Our people understand only strength. Strength alone. They don't care. They don't fear death. They must be dragged from its door by the yoke. The kin are a beast, but a beast whose heart has been stolen and corrupted by those who would use them, that would drain from them everything they once were. The old Grimskys, Vlad only the most recent of their line, have for generations stripped the kin of their life and the connection to the earth. No matter what you think, the kin must be convinced to leave the Termitary for their own sakes. Vlad, of course, was responsible, but not the man we are so acquainted with. Vlad the Younger, the son of the beef tycoon, was, it turns out, the one responsible for issuing the order to seal the Termitary. He did so in order to keep them safe from his father's wrath. They had rioted, and the younger Vlad thought that if his father caught wind of it, he would bring on them an unholy wrath. Of course, they rioted because they were dying. Young Vlad longs to take responsibility for his mistakes, as though his death could even do such a thing. Do his actions merit punishment? What do the lines tell you, Burach? Big Vlad is only too ready to save his son, and needs only the slightest provocation to send men to stop young Vlad's act of self-sacrifice. Either way, the kin accept the sacrifice of a Vlad, and a sacrifice it shall be. Only death awaits the one that shows their face to the kin. One more act, though, is required for the kin to leave the Termitary. One more cut. A schism has developed in them. Most think you are worth following, but a few disagree. For the first time, their heart is divided. This must not be so. The kin demand you cut off their rebellious limb. It seems Oyun was right. Whoever leads the kin must take a strong hand with them. One more hurdle. Kill those who dissent. You are a butcher, are you not? Spill just a little more blood, Burach. It is for the good of the body, isn't it? The kin certainly think so, and take you as leader if you accept their requests. Or, if you must, leave them here to suffer. Stock's fate has been decided. If you were able to craft a panacea in time, he will have made it past the 7th day. He will have given up his lone crusade to find his own cure. Now he has an opportunity for salvation, to become one with the town again. Stock's only connection before your arrival was Isidore. When that connection snapped, Stock lost everything. But you have returned, in spirit now, not merely in body. Both of you are finally present in the town and are accepted by it. He reaches out now a tentative and scarred hand, and has chosen to believe in others one last time. The thorn has fallen from Stock. Fail to craft a panacea in time, and Stock's fate is simpler. He never gave up his obsession, but not without a reward. A panacea will be delivered to you in exchange for the fool's life. He refused any lifelines thrown to him and paid the price for his madness. Isolation is damnation, and a refusal to adapt to the fate of the world, to change, leaves you alone and powerless. Grief's fate now also winds to a close. He has stayed with Inquisitor Aglaya, and she has filled his mind with talks of puppet and fate. He now sees himself only a tool of this cruel fate, a marionette tugged here and there by lines beyond his imagining. The only difference he sees between himself and doll is that the doll knows its place, but he believes, or believed, he was a thinking, rational thing that chose his lot in life. He asks you now to destroy his warehouse market, to tell those left behind to go home and give it all up. Grief only ever played at being a cutthroat, but the town is not as kind a place as it once was. Who will listen to the words of one who played pretend when the reality of death is upon them? Unsurprisingly, those who took the place of grief have grown fat on the blood of the innocent, and will not give up their empire lightly. Death is the only thing that will dislodge them from their place. But is it even worth it? They sell valuable tools to a butcher such as yourself. Why kill someone who runs such a valuable enterprise? End them, and maybe you give grief some salvation, however. He never wanted to admit it to himself, but those murderers long left his control. He had hoped to keep them in line, keep even criminality in this town no more than theater. He failed. Grief will give you a shotgun for your efforts. He used to carry it, for show, unloaded, of course. Grief hoped fear could keep his men in line, but they abandoned fear days ago now. Grief was the perfect cog in the town that was, served the perfect function in the town the Canes imagined. He no longer desires such a perfect function now. He sits, useless, purposeless, but no longer bound by fate. He has cut his strings and gone slump. Grief believes this is the only way to become human, that you cannot be human while tied to fate. You aren't alive while you're part of someone else's designs. How can you leave such systems entirely, though? What would it look like when you completely break the bonds of fate, especially when you are a construct, a part of a child's game? The truth is that you are only a doll. The deadline has come. Word of this town's predicament has spread now, and it is said to be beyond all hope. The army has arrived. The Inquisitor sought to solve the plague at the risk of her own life. The army will solve the plague, or the town will die. The plague will not be allowed beyond the borders of the Gorkon. End of story. Artillery will destroy the town in 2 days if the plague is not cured. The army is a simple thing, a ticking clock that makes time flow all the swifter. All the children ever treated to the Polyhedron save you're bound, taking their precious smouters with them. The plague has left a final message for you, and you're bound. I rise. No one can stop me now, and you can do nothing against me. I am taking them all. The plague no longer plays to lose. Time to work, Burah. The abattoir is open to us at last. The miracle of Earth, Olongo. 6 gulps of living blood, 6 growths of the earth lie here rife for the taking.
Is cleaving a self-same body in twain not kindly? An open wound is a window into the world. A shout is an arm reaching out from a gaping mouth. Tearing a healthy body to shreds with illness is like breaking a nutshell.
This the plague reveals, that it ripped the body of the town apart, that it might grow, that it might change to the will of the earth. To advance, show you know the lines. The herb bride who knew you before you knew her waits here. You finally remember her name, Nara. You must show that you know the lines upon her body. Trace the emptiness within her. Cut her apart without killing her, and in her overcome death. She says of her body, "This is the earth. Earth is flesh. Hot blood flows through it. It gives birth, gets sick, endures and suffers. We are flesh of the earth's flesh, Yagrashim, and so is the disease killing you. But it's of no danger to us while we're connected to the earth. Now, you've seen it. Your work is done. She that is connected to the earth, that is the earth, cannot die. Her body gives up only a spool, something that might link and connect. Advance through the abattoir, collect the living blood, and at the end show you are a complete Menku, that you truly know how things are sewn together. It takes no wisdom to see that a cord connects mother to child, yes. It takes no wisdom to see a stone falling into a river connects the ripples on the surface. But to see the connection between the stone and the mother? Weave now together a fingernail with a nuptial candle, a man with the earth, bound by the cord of the herb bride Nara. You may speak with your heart, hear its voice as though it was a stranger. Our heart reveals the nature of the plague, that it ignores those who have no sense of self, who do not reach beyond their bodies. Only humans will find the plague lethal. Anyone who forgets the word I, those who have no need of words will be spared. Your heart urges you, do not sever yourself from the earth. Merge with us. Return. We love you. We hurt without you as much as I hurt torn out of you. Return to the body of your people. What is your choice? Do you long to be you, to be human? Or are you so afraid of death that you will happily lose yourself in the collective, in its loving, warm embrace? You do not need to choose now, but you must descend. Descend and meet the Udurg, the heart of the town. It is clear to see here in the chambers of its body that it has been pierced by the polyhedron. A lethal instrument has been stuck into the body of the town, and soon you must decide if it must be left or torn forcefully from this body. The plague has made good on its threat. Every last one of your bound is infected. No rolls, no outs. They are doomed if you do not intervene. You must find what truths you can. Treat those you are able to. Father and Oyun have a couple yet left to give. Isidore longed for the kin to become people. Oyun drops any pretense and tells you that Isidore let the plague into the town. All of this is not just his burden, but his choice. He said, "A town like ours must endure to live and mature. It's called a vaccination." And Isidore believed you would finish his work. Perhaps it would be better just to ask him ourselves. Sleep, and our father may dream of us. Once more we return to the abattoir, this time populated by its creatures unique and nearly lost to the world. Your old toy given voice and legs that they may walk upon the earth. They beg you, do not give up the earth. It is the source of miracles. If you cut out the plague from the earth, it will not survive. Miracles will die. Miracles of earth, miracles of sky, all will perish. Bas Tirak, the living blood, the living earth, all gone when animals no longer tread upon the ground. Isidore saw his own demise near. Did not believe the town would survive without his hands to hold it up when he was gone. He tore the town that we might have the chance to sew it back better than before. When he lived, the town was a chimera, the future and the past sewn together wrong. To Isidore, there was merit in facing the future or the past, but wallowing in indecision. A creature that chases the future and the past in equal measure chases neither. The time to cut the cord of fate has not yet come, but in this moment, surely you have decided. Which is it, Burach? Shall we live as beasts or grow as humans? Fear not, there is no wrong answer as long as you decide. At least Isidore believes this. Oyun agrees with him. All that matters is that you've understood something he says. He will now tell you the whole tale of your father's death. The night he died, he went out and dug into the earth, cut into it, provoking the living earth. Isidore told Oyun the sand pest cannot be stopped, should not be stopped. In this Oyun saw only madness and killed Isidore to end his suffering. But was he mad? Is it not possible Isidore's actions were merely beyond Oyun's understanding? Oyun will not turn away from the consequences of his actions. Life or death, forgiveness or vengeance, he leaves to you. Kill the foreman and you grant him a swift death. His line ended. But to forgive him and let him live is a much crueler fate. Oyun will live always knowing he took the life of the only man wise enough to lead the town. Aglaia has concluded her own inquisition. She has discovered, as you have, that the polyhedron created the schism 5 years ago and made this town go mad against itself. Her conclusion, when you inform her of the nature of the living blood, that it comes from the earth where it has been mixed with the blood of the abattoir. Pull out the polyhedron from the earth. In removing the barb, the earth's blood will flow out, providing ample ingredients for your panaceas. Artillery, the same that the army pointed at the town, may be used to remove this barb while allowing the military to perform its orders. It is worth noting that the children have been evacuated from the polyhedron, taken from this town. The lever of fate is now ready to be pulled. Despite having found this solution, it is still deemed to have come too late. Inquisitor Aglaya's fate was sealed the moment the military arrived, and her job was unfinished. The military will not miss a chance to kill her, and now she wishes to flee, to be free of fate. She believes the same thing she convinced Grief of, that only those who cut their cords may be human. You too must decide. Your path was set the moment you started this game. Is it better to escape the bonds of those who have writ this play than to see it to the end as they have prepared? Soon they will tell you, you have won! Victory is yours! Well done! Is it true, though? Is it enough? Aglaya denies this. She has a glitter in her eye of the world beyond her stage, and she longs to see it, together with Artemis. If you agree with her, abandon your post as she plans to. A train awaits you. Where did it come from? Where is it going? Neither of these questions matter. The only thing that matters is that it leads to true freedom, true humanity. The answer, though, of the question asked earlier, of what complete freedom for a doll means, is answered when the train is ground to a premature halt. Aglaya is granted her freedom, free from the last thing bonding her to this foul play. Her life is ended. You, however, must continue. There is no release for Artemis. Even death eludes him. So take now the long walk back to the stage, leading man. Your destiny awaits. Laura failed, time and again, to do anything of worth, and who could blame her? She possessed no special fate, no training that could ever have allowed her to be of real use when this tragedy struck. Perhaps all of us now know the pain of uselessness when death waits outside our doors. Most of us are not doctors or physicians, having no special training which could have prepared us for the very real plague all of us faced. We are most like Laura, so I hope you have a shred of sympathy for her now that she has broken. The man who led the army to town, General Alexander Block, had her father put on a trial, an unfair court-martial where he was sentenced to death. She has sallied forth to do the one thing she sees herself capable of, killing Alexander Block. Even in this, however, she finds only failure. There has been a mutiny and Block has been jailed. The army wishes only to leave the backwater town and store their general away that they might retreat. Again, Laura has done nothing. Such, maybe, is the fate of those relegated to the sideline of such a disaster. The Inquisitor might be dead, but she will see the polyhedron dead alongside her. 3 couriers she sent to reach the general, giving orders to him to see it destroyed. But the town is at the height of its fever, and in its madness devoured the first 2 right along with their orders. The third, however, is alive and running. It is your responsibility, your sole duty to find him. You will chase him all over town, to a military camp, a bar, until you finally find him bled out on the doorstep of your factory lair. He was right back where we started our long chase. But now, the pivotal moment. In your hands you hold the orders to destroy the polyhedron. You may deliver them and see it undone and the heart of the town with it. Or take pity and kill nothing at all, not even the plague. The choice is right in front of you. Are you man or beast? Choose one or the other, and you will see your companion, Death, back where you started. Your fellow traveler let you know that you overcame death. You were the only one to do so. You realize death is not an end but a boundary. You can cross any chasm if you're convinced it's just another obstacle. Immortality is not victory. That we bound the severed parts of our town together, put connections between seemingly unconnected things. Such connections are the essence of understanding, and understanding is to become someone else. The town did not care if you became someone else or understood, but hopefully in experiencing it, you did see, however dimly, into the hearts of those who made it. The question, though, is did you wean the people of their umbilical cord? Free them? Or did you refuse your role as butcher? Refuse to let the town's blood run like rivers and preserve the last of the miraculous things in the world? Picking either was, Isidore said, enough. Death releases whoever is left to you, and you are free to wander the town one last time. No more needs, no more time. Just the people who mattered. Choose miracles and you choose a world of eternal night. Ignorance unending. Murky returns to her container, living for a dream she knows will never come. She dreamed of growing up and seeing the ocean. Neither is possible now. But that is fine, isn't it? After all, there is the eternal now, the unending bliss of youth, ignorance, and homeliness. Those who cannot give up the self, who still hold I within themselves, must leave the town on the river. Each of them is an island in a flooded ocean of blood. There is no place for them here now. More than that, they have all forgotten you. You are a part of the body of the kin, no longer an individual. How could they see you when you are Udurch now, a body that contains many lives? As Pity is delighted to see that the town has returned to the kin. The plague thrives here, enduring this will always be a place only for the beast who give up a longing for something else. Time has been wound backwards. Grace and Taya both go to live in the Polyhedron. It is a place for children where they can live their dreams unending. We are too old to see inside it, too much of the earth, but we may walk its exterior and talk to the devisers if we wish. These seem to be quotes from various developers about their thoughts on making the game. Many of them are disconnected, or just little thought-provoking statements, and really, you should take time to read them for yourself. Descend the Polyhedron and you will see even the Kane's Cathedral is populated by the kin. Every invention here now serves the kin. They are the town, now and forever. Maybe you chose to embrace your destiny, to make the streets run with the blood of the earth. Udurg is dead. Or is it? Could Udurg not have easily as been the living town? Both the Polyhedron and the abattoir were places of pure ideas. They crushed men and women, boys and girls who went inside them, reduced them to animals and children. Now the plague is gone, and all the miracles of earth and heaven too. The earth itself is dead, but the people of the town are free now to seek their own destinies, not just those handed to them. No one still alive has anything to fear, for they threw off the limitations of their old body, of their old town. They were pierced by the outside world and survived. Now they have a wound, a window to see the true sky. They are broken not from a thing that was most vital, but from only that which stunted their growth, only that which held them from advancing. They are free. There is one last encounter at the end of our journey. Having said our farewells, only a conversation with our playwright, Marc Immortel, awaits. He wants to know if any of this meant anything to you. Was Pathologic able to convey something to you? Did you find something of yourself in Artemis? How well did this attempt at synthesis pan out? Obviously, I cannot answer that question for you. Only you know how much border there was between our fair Haruspecs and yourself. But answer now, one final question. How do you bid Pathologic 2 farewell? I allow you to decide. Change. Change is at the heart of Pathologic. The ways and means that one thing passes into another, and most importantly, learning not to fear that change. Oftentimes in our lives we may find ourselves joined to something, a part of something which can seem of such vital importance, a relationship, a group, an idea. It may bring us great comfort to be part of the people who believe in such a thing, whether that comfort is in a single other or a collective. Losing the self, being no one but the us, is to be no more than animal. If we would live, we must stand on our own, reason for ourselves, and become human. Throw off your swaddling cloth, no matter the form it takes. There is no death in these communities, but when the self is distributed among so many, there is no life either. The greatest works are those that change you, that mold you even if you would stand in stark opposition to their attempts to do so. Pathologic, too, is such a work. I find it inevitable that just as you molded Artemis' actions, he too molds you, opens your minds to other possibilities, other ways of seeing the world. Artemis was determined, perceptive, and intuitive. Having become him for however brief a time, you cannot help but have some small fragment of him be left upon you, a fingernail, a fleck of his skin upon yours. Thank you for watching.